Just about 2 years ago, the Alliance in Canada gathered for General Assembly. At that time, prophetic statements made their way to the floor for both Eastern and Western Canada. They were an incredible blessing. And I remember being in the room and my own heart being stirred as Eastern Canada came into focus. A declaration that God had plans for the Maritimes, that His Spirit would move again with transformative power as the gospel was being proclaimed. My family was planning a move to Nova Scotia, and as you can imagine, it stirred my heart and encouraged us that we were stepping into something so much bigger than ourselves. Just recently, Alliance workers and churches gathered here in Nova Scotia at Converge Atlantic. We met in Halifax with a focus on deeper life for mission. It's organized by one of our new venture families, and we spent the day with our eyes fixed on Jesus as He invited us to unapologetically declare the gospel in the Maritimes. There's a movement of the Spirit here in the Maritimes. I interestingly run into people who have recently arrived, and I ask the same question: why did you move to Nova Scotia? And oddly enough, believers are saying to me that they're not quite certain why they moved here, but they know that God was in that move. So indeed, God is stirring and is up to something. Recently, one of our many independent churches here in the East began to seek denominational covering. Grace Church in Sydney Mines, Nova Scotia. It's now our newest Alliance church in Canada. And if you're uncertain where Sydney Mines is, you get on the Trans-Canada Highway, head east, and when you run out of road and find the ocean, you're pretty much there. In fact, you just back up a kilometer or two and you'll be right there at the church. Grace Church is currently looking for a pastor, and this is something that Jesus is organizing for them. And we live in anticipation of who that person is that will be called here. And Grace is not the only church that is drawn to our heart for Jesus and a commitment to the mission that He's entrusted us to. The Spirit is drawing and is doing something. There's also an invitation here in this video to ask Jesus if you have a role in these beautiful provinces. The coastline, the culture, the diversity of its people, a Celtic history that's alive and well greets those who grace our shores. Where I live, some people still keep their time by the turn of the tide. Others are out there carving a life out of rugged forests and wild seascapes. But there's more here than the beauty of the province, more here than the spectacular images that you see. There is spiritual darkness, lethargy, addictions, and suffering. All things that the gospel champions. We need workers for a harvest. Our Eastern Canadian district would like to talk to you about new ventures or helping our Atlantic Canada Development Fund. I would like to invite you to come to Converge next year, to come and to lean into what the Lord might have for you. If you're thinking about a shift in pastoral ministry, consider the Atlantic. I'm just going to say it one more time. God is up to something in Atlantic Canada. And as an alliance, we want to be a part of that and facilitate it. God bless you.